Thank you for tuning in and listening. We are delighted to welcome you to the podcast of Fiona Arrigo, founder of the award-winning Arrigo Programme and A Place to Heal. Fiona Arrigo is one of the foremost internationally acclaimed intuitive healers, a biodynamic psychotherapist, mentor and life teacher, and acknowledged as a leader in her field. Radical shifts. As we enter into week 5 of lockdown, this Sunday Sanctuary, Fiona will explore the importance of knowing our intent and developing strength through our inner work during these times. She will also explore how our personal lives affect the whole and how by keeping our aim and arrows strong, we allow for radical shifts and inner activism as our service to the whole world and its much needed changes.
So welcome to everybody. When I say welcome, it's really welcoming all parts of you, every part. And I can see lots of new faces that haven't been here before. So thank you and for turning up on Sunday morning. And just to reiterate, I'm really sharing on Sunday Sanctuary. My intention is to hold a space for you, a place that we can come in together, a place that we can, in all the different places that we're going to right now, to build our various tribes of togetherness and holding and support and inspiration and moving forward. I'm going to share with you, as that's all I can do, is my own inner reflections of the week and what has become visible for me. What I'm offering is very simple. I'm not coming from the place of teaching or being anything any further than where you all are, where we are together along the path. I really want to make that clear. But I have been blessed in this life with vision, and I have been blessed in this life with a gift of being able to feel the collective and feel deeper responses in a way from the inner planes, from the heavens, from our earth. And I've been studying, I want to say in this life, because it is a continuum for me for the last 35 years. And this is what I'm bringing to you in simplicity. So this week, I've been really thinking about what is it going to take for us to stay on the path, to stay in a direction of what's unfolding, and to, in a way, radically shift. Because I think that the more I journey in and the more I become aware and go through my own body in a way, I see that where we are right now in week 5 is there's a need for a call for accuracy, to really look into ourselves and see what is changing in us. We really need to pay attention to this. We can't be blah or glib or kind of, it doesn't really matter anymore. That world is dead. And so for this movement that is arising now, the call all the time is for our own inner activism. Every day, in a way, to claim something more of ourselves and to notice what is changing in us, to become more accurate, in a way, to become more disciplined, and to really examine how much awareness and consciousness we are bringing to our day. And with that awareness and consciousness, kind of what we are forging our lives into, and being very, very, very precise. These are the inner building blocks. You know, we have a kind of loose violin inside of ourselves from generations and generations of loose energy and becoming quite, in a way, spiritually flaccid. And I think that this is the time, I feel this is the time to really create stronger internal muscle so that we can forge our arrows accurately on how to live in a new way on earth. So this is work. This is the kind of stage where work comes in. You know, I think we've had so many emotional adaptives in the last 4 to 5 weeks. We've had a lot of spiritual realizations. We've had a lot of pain as we look at what has happened and what is happening to the people that are passing, to the people that aren't being cared for, to the people that are struggling. So there's been a lot that's been bombarding us in terms of how we've had to process and kind of take it in and in a way make it your own, like find out, you know, which we've talked about in the last few weeks, you know, find out in a way what's working for you and really clearly where to place your intention. This is hugely important, where you place your intention. We've all read these books. We've all studied this path, but it's not a dress rehearsal. It's not a study anymore. We have to put everything that we've been reading, every prayer we've made, every workshop we've been to, whatever we've been doing, we have to do it now. This isn't, we're in it. And so we can't drop off now. We've been preparing. Our prayers are that we're ready, that we're protected, that these are the times we've been waiting for. But also, we have to practice the medicine that we have been working with, psychologically, emotionally, transpersonally, energetically, any Lee that you've been working with. It needs to become you. It's not anymore, you know, oh, I'm just going to go to a workshop and then come back. You know, we can't go out, learn something, forget about it, and just wait for it to happen. We have to be accurate. So now, here we are, being the work. And this is really, really key, that we build our resilience and commitment to change. These will start to build these energetic muscles that have become, we need the arrows strong. In a way, we need the strings on the violin strong. We can't have this kind of flaccidness in our psychology and in our energy system. So we can't sit back, but we have to become active in our dreaming. So this is what I've been looking at, of course, in myself this week, of what is being peeled away and how accurate I can be with my own life state. And I'm deeply noticing, and I'm sure many of you are too, the different relationships that I'm making with everything that I'm doing. And there's just some things that are happening beautifully naturally that I just can't do anymore. I kind of just notice it. I go to an old behavior and it's like a no. Or I might go to look at something and it's a no. It's that there's a honing that is naturally happening within the collective. But for myself, I'm looking at it's like I think it was week 2 or something, we talked about coming out of selfishness and coming into this, which everybody's talking about, into this rhythm of living with a consciousness of togetherness. And so for myself, I'm looking all the time at, is this good for my family? Is this action good for my community? Is this action good for my planet? Is this action good for myself? It's the muscle of inner activism and inner awareness that is shifting. And so the question again continues to be for this week, how does our daily lives serve the whole? And I find, and again, I don't know if you are, just nod your beautiful heads if you are, but I'm finding when I cook and eat and walk that nature herself, Gaia herself, is seeping further and further into my everyday consciousness. It's like her consciousness is deeply, it's like I'm dreaming in her consciousness with her more and more through the days. And this relationship isn't just like before I'd make a prayer to her or I'd see her or something. It's like I'm entering into her dream state with her. And it's not just conceptual. This relationship with nature, this relationship with Gaia, this interconnectedness, because of course in the power of meditation, of course in the power of self-development, of course in all the medicine wheels that we follow, all this is going to is working. But the way through this moment is this absolute deep connection with her, our mother, and her nature. And so I'm inviting myself and us not just to look outside at the trees, the birds, the skies, the mountains, but to feel the birds, the skies, the mountains, the waters deep inside me as well. And that's developing a different relationship to everything, as I'm dreaming with her in a different way. And I'm sure many of you on this call are doing this, but it has to be spoken again and again and again and again to the collective, because it's so easy for us to slip into, we've got hundreds of years of ingranation into our neurological mindsets and into our energy fields and into our chakras. There's a lot of calcification and this is why we need tribe, and this is why we need to walk ourselves home, and this is why we need to hold each other's hands, to keep remembering that this honing, this radical shifting, and it is radical. It's like we can't be that one anymore. This radical shift comes back when we come into relationship with nature, nurture, the land, our mother. And when we start to develop that love, like we can't hurt our own mothers, hopefully, although we do. Of course we have, and we do, because the planet itself is under huge mother wound, which we'll talk about in a minute. But in terms of Gaia, we have trampled over her, and with no awe, with no reverence, with no respect. And so with that lack, and these should be words for our medicine basket this week, to really practice awe, reverence. And the more we come into that sensual alive inner connection, the magic stops, that we stop naturally, we will stop naturally trampling over each other and our earth. So this is so huge, this movement, this moment, this awe, this heart opening, and how we are being invited to live differently with more consideration, a widening and expansion. And one of my expressions when we do retreats is, that we are thread weavers, all of us, and that we are being reweaved, and our own threads are connecting and deepening this opportunity of this moment. And so my call to you this week, and my call deep to myself, is let's not forget for one moment, how awake can we stay right now in this moment? So I'm wondering, of course, how everybody is feeling this week as we're going now into week 5. And in some ways it's getting more serious. The energy being called from ourselves, within the celestials, within the deep earth, within the collective consciousness. But there's a big calling from ourselves. And know this, be respectful to this, and allow this movement to work through you. So I'm finding myself, for much of the day, I have to find stillness and quietness so I can listen, and finding ways to do this daily housekeeping on my own mind, and finding these radical points, these radical shifts of deep let go of attitudes and clutter that I've accumulated. So it's like daily housekeeping to clear out my field, to clear out my field, to clear out my field. This is radical shift. Be responsible daily for clearing out your field. I wanted to read this to you, that a friend of mine, he sent this to me earlier in the week, and I did post it, but it's important. It's called "We Are Not in the Same Boat." I heard that we are all in the same boat, but it's not like that. We are sailing in the same storm, but not in the same boat. Your ship could be shipwrecked, and mine might not be, or vice versa. For some, quarantine is optimum, a moment of reflection, of reconnection, easy in flip-flops with a cocktail or coffee. For others, this is a desperate financial and family crisis. For some that live alone, they're facing endless loneliness, while for others it is peace, rest and time with their mother, father, sons and daughters. Some are bringing in extra money with endless overtime. Others are working more hours for less money due to pay cuts or loss in sales. Others no longer have a job. Some families of 4 will receive £5,000 per month from the stimulus, while other families of 4 will receive 0 for the duration of it. Some were concerned about getting a certain chocolate for Easter, while others were concerned if there would be enough bread, milk and eggs for the weekend. Some want to go back to work because they don't qualify for unemployment and are running out of money. Others want to kill those who break the quarantine when they are seen outside. Some are home spending 2-3 hours a day helping their child with online schooling, while others are spending 2 to 3 hours a day to educate their children on top of a 10 to 12-hour workday. Some have experienced the near death of the virus. Some have already lost someone from it. And some are not sure if their loved ones are going to make it. Others don't believe this is a big deal. Some have faith and expect miracles during this 2020. Others say the worst is yet to come. So friends, we are not in the same boat. We are going through a time when our perceptions and needs are completely different. Each of us will emerge in our own way from this storm. It is very important to see beyond what is seen at first glance, not just looking, actually seeing. We are all on different ships during the storm, experiencing a very different journey. So don't judge others by what's happening in your boat. We are just fighting our ways through this storm. Good luck to you all, and we'll see you in the calm. So why I wanted to read that was because I believe our service right now to all that's going on. Many of you may be volunteering. Many of you may be giving monies to charity. Many of you may be looking after members of your family. And this is correct because this is the time to share and give and care, for sure. But for us that are doing the light work, I believe we have a duty of care to become as impeccable as we can be. And this duty of care is the offering to these times. How we are with our energy and how we are in our awareness and in our consciousness. And so over the weeks, I've talked about us being in a birth canal. It's like we are a huge oneness of birth coming through a very powerful birth canal. And for many of us that have given birth, there absolutely comes a time in labor when we want to give up and believe that we don't have the energy for that final push. Now, we're a long, long way away, beloveds, from this final push. We're a long way away. But there is, again, this energetic of these muscles that we have to keep honing so that we don't give up, so that we keep accumulating enough energy so that we can keep moving through. We must not give up on our work, on our path, and be lazy and be untidy. The energy will not stand for that. So this discipline of moving ahead, honing, refining, reaching out to each other when we feel that we need each other's support. And do put, by the way, please, do put in the chat line, if you feel you want support, put a telephone number in or put a or WhatsApp, whatever your best way of communication is, so that if you're really feeling you need support from each other, put a number in and let's turn up for each other. Let's make a call. Let's be supportive. Let's know we're there. I mean, I'm in trepidation of setting up a WhatsApp group because it's just another WhatsApp group, but also I want, if anybody's struggling, I want to know about that so we can help you. Or maybe it's about writing to a place to heal directly and we can do something for you. I don't want to be untidy in this, but I do want to say if people are struggling, let us help. So what is really important is to know in this shift that is taking place, in this rest, pause, reset, global retreat, we are learning because we are not so bombarded by the world in the old way. We are learning to manage our reactions and our triggers. What got us into this mess is this separation from the good, the true, and the beautiful, from really deep respect of life. What got us into this mess is our arrogance. What got us into this mess is our passed down generationally. This is nobody's fault. It's just an accuracy of seeing. But how we have been so reactive, so judgmental, so divisive in our thinking, and that we have, in this kind of overreactive solar plexus, we've been in all these dramas of push, pull, desire, aversion, want it, push it away, all these different control dramas that have been running our lives. And we need to look at this. We need to look at our relationship between push, pull, aversion, pushing away, drama, impact. And this quietude is a shift key that we need, this inner quietude. And as we're going through this birth and this consciousness, we're looking at the waste, we're looking at the shadows, we're looking at the dross, we're looking at the toxicities. And of course, this can be overwhelming, but I'm asking you not to be overwhelmed, not to be, but to be accountable, to shift the energy from being overwhelmed into the arrow of accountability. That has strength. You can still be soft and tender and generous and compassionate, but have the arrow of strength in your bow. We've given in. We've indulged. It's amazing. We've indulged. We have been, last week I talked about the planet of pressure. We have been under the spell of indulgence, that we have the right. And so we've brought up our children in this way. We can't stand for it anymore. So we need to clearing up, remove ourselves from the pockets of disturbances, look deeply at the control patterns that we've inherited that keep us separate, that keep us split, that keep us in divisive thinking, that keep us thinking somebody's got it and we haven't, parlous thinking, somebody else has got more than us, or they're more enlightened, or there's no, it all has to be thrown out, because you and I are needed. We can't like move off that anymore. We can't give our power away or fall underneath and think we're not worthy, which we spoke about last week. We have to do our work. And we can go, of course, to endless online things and learn in endless workshops and keep that racket going. And I'm not saying it's bad. If it nurtures you, great. But you have to do the work yourselves now. We're not babies anymore. So just look at your resistance if it's there. Just look and laugh and giggle and know that little part of your emotional orphan is acting out. But get clear and come back to that bow and arrow. Be clear on your strength. Be clear on that. And it's a muscle. So I'm trying to generate energy. This is a muscle that we need to grow together. So I know there's some amazing meditators on this call, and thank you. I have friends that are meditating for 3 hours a day to help these shifts. And thank you for that. And to know that all our thoughts, whether we're active meditators in terms of what am I doing right now, or we're deep internal meditators connecting to the deeper inner realms, inner planes. Every time, because we move into the age of transparency and telepathy, all the work that everybody's doing in these amazing meditations and people doing these global meditations and coming together at 11 o'clock in the morning and 11 o'clock at night, all these potent, powerful thoughts is aiding this birth that is taking place. It is coming through the middle like a snake, through the middle of all this, moving, shifting, growing, inviting, calling. And the world will still go on to the left of all the tragedies and all the pains. And the world will still go on to the right as we look up to the sky, great Father Sky, and we look down to the earth, great Mama, great Pachamama. But this in-between birthing process of how our actions, our inner activism, our connection of this birthing trail as we move through the middle of this is as our cells of thought affect the whole. So as the veils continue to get thinner, we continue to be even more affected by the global transparency and telepathy. This is the new age. The new age is an age of transparency and telepathy. So again, we talked about this before. Be careful of what you're tuning into. Be really careful of what you are agreeing to believe in. I will do a talk on reclaiming our dream. I really want to do that. And I've been thinking actually that I might put together a 6-week course on to join the many queues of the people that I'm telling you not to listen to online. But I am thinking of putting together a course for new codes of living, because this way to keep our minds strong is so important for this moment. So come out of inner battle, keep a checklist of where we are pushed and pulled and when we're in the energy of aversions, and just keep looking, and then hone. Forgive yourself, love yourself, appreciate, hone. Okay, you see that, and now what do I want my life to be? Where do I want my prayer to go? What do I want my life force to be contributing to? This I call radical accountability. This reordering of our world is not an intellectual approach. You know, we've learned so much theory, and now we have to begin embodying it in simple ways of the tenderness, the sensuality of caring. And it doesn't matter what it is. I'm just looking at what's on my desk, you know, caring and giving gratitude to a glass of water, not being flip with what we are being presented with. We need to get out of this energy of, oh, it's just there. And we need to drop into the energy of such deep appreciation. Don't take your feet off the accelerator. Do not. You know, our elders have been talking for time about a new dreaming. And and they've said that the time will come in our earth where there is no more divisiveness. Now, how that's going to work, how that's going to work out, we can't possibly know. But we can be part of a new dream that says yes to no more divisiveness, no more separation of white, black, red, yellow. No more taking more than what we actually need. Taking responsibilities for how we really impact our environment, our relationships, and being accountable, not saying it doesn't matter. Not, you know, matter, madre, matter. Everything matters. We've just become so disconnected from this. And so we have to become accountable for our own new laws of looking after our peoples, looking after our animals, looking after our trees, looking after our country, and really getting with the program of only taking what we need. That's, oh my goodness, if we could just get that one back in. Only taking what we need. How far away have we come from that? Another important quality or medicine, you know, in Buddhism, we talk about right thought, right action. And be really careful of how you speak to yourself. I heard something that one of the grandmothers said the other day, and she said, how we speak is important. Our speech is actually a spelling. And what she said is that we have been cast under a spell. We have been under a spell of non-awakenedness. And that this spell, this matrix, this holding pattern is breaking. It's like it's all dissembling. And of course, in pockets of our world, the rigidity of holding on to old ways are there, which is why I believe our work is to dream new ways in. We need to dream and be part of the new ways to dream them in, which of course are not new ways. This is part of what our ancients and elders have been teaching us, but we haven't been listening because we've been so busy on this firecracker of how we've lived. I mean, it's sacrilegious really when we get to think about it deeply. So pay attention to how to what you're saying, and a simple way is to speak kindly about yourself. Speak kindly to others. Speak kindly to our birds, to our animals, to our trees. Think kind thoughts. That's a shift. Speak kindly. And notice when you're not. And don't beat yourself up. Love and forgive yourself. Strengthen your bow. Strengthen your arrow. Make a commitment to do it differently. So the elders have said that they have paved the way for these times. And they say we now need to help ourselves. You know, so much of our psyche, our old psyche, has been based on being rescued. How much energy have we given to one day our prince will come? One day the princess will come. One day the good mother, the good father will turn up. And so that hasn't really got us very far, has it? Let's be frank. It hasn't really got us so far, except into the beautiful realm of disappointment often and heartbreak. But how can we let go again? This is the attention of no longer being waiting to be rescued. Really beginning to come out of that. And how we come into this new code of living. You know, humanity itself is in a way the groundwork, you know, us, all our tribes of people around the world, the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of millions of people that are thinking in this new way. Mother Earth is doing this anyway. Our celestial Father is doing this anyway. But we, within this collective awakening, it's our humanity, it's our activism that has to do the groundwork as well. And, you know, I was thinking about this as well, you know, with Corona, we were so heading for this wake up, and it could have been a massive world war. It could have been California falling into the ocean. I mean, there's so many different ways, and we don't know what's coming. But in the consideration, not discounting the tragedy and the events that have happened, but this rest pause for us to really get with the program has been very benevolent in many ways, very kind. And we owe it to life no longer to be divisive. We owe it to our Mother Earth to walk kindly on her and to do things differently. So in this week, you know, myself, I've been in the dragon's mouth, churning, being spat out and annihilated, and, you know, really having to let go of my own control battles, really having to stay in trust. And I've looked at myself for a tool, which what has helped me is to practice deep devotion to life. And I wonder how devoted we are to life herself. And you'll often hear me using reverence and awe. But I think, again, in your medicine basket, if you really, you know, the minute we come into devotion to the bigger picture, we are honed in a different way, because it's not about our everyday. It's about a devotion to life herself. And this is a profound honing in our inner structures, to be filled with love, you know, to sing up our hearts, to raise up our hearts to something bigger than ourselves. And as we are radically shifting, and we are, and the call is here, let's also look at what we tolerate. You know, in trauma work, we look at our window of tolerance. And this is a really good framework to kind of look at your window of tolerance about decreasing your exposure to things that drain you or toxify you, and get clear of the invitation of what you want to invite into your life. And look to the sacred within. Look to the sacred without. Look to what is waiting for you and that has always been there. And how could we have walked under the sky and through the earth and in the trees and in the flowers and almost ignored her? How could we have done this in our high-rise buildings that have stopped the flow of bees, in our disturbances that have stopped our, that have stopped our bees, in the absolute rampant abuse of our children on this planet? We've stopped this disconnection to this deep, deep mother wound, how we have been severed from our own nature. And so when that happens, when that severing happens, we lose our consciousness, we lose our conscience. And we can kill. We can kill our indigenous people. We can pull up the forests. We can hurt our children. It's really time for us to look down and say thank you. And to develop this feeling body, which isn't an emotional body. It's a feeling body through sensitivity and sensuality, to be able to feel our earth inside us and outside of us. If you don't know Claire Dubois, I'm sure most of you do. Just let's have a show of hands. I can't see, I only got about 12 of you front page, but does everybody know Claire Dubois' work? Oh my God, get there and fall in love. She's a radical mama, pa, energy woman. And she has founded something called Tree Sisters. Beautiful movement. But listen to her. She's such a phenomenal activist. CLAIRE and it's Tree Sisters. And she says, we are completely redefining what a human being actually is, and falling into humility. That's got to be in our medicine basket with nature, so we can discover what co-creativity is all about. And what does this look like at a grassroots level? To take responsibility. Us humans, my goodness gracious, we have elevated ourselves to such elevated positions to the point that we are completely out of harmony with our earth, with our peoples, with our own bodies. Our own bodies are filled with toxins, with cancers, with anxiety, with depression. The list is forever, and it has been up until this moment, an epidemic. We have severed our roots. So we need to shape up. We need to radically shift. And we need not to give up. We need not to be complacent. We need not to be lazy. And we need to keep calling on the medicine of reverence, of humility, of surrender, of strength. And to develop whole new relationships around us, of also to be wholesome. That's another great word. You know, are we living in a wholesome way? It's always been there. And we've been so looking in the other direction. And now, boom, we've got this moment to feel the earth, to put our bellies on the earth. I love the simple medicine of humming. When we walk, we hum. And as we hum, that hum hums into the birds, it hums into the bees, it hums into the spiders, it hums into the vortexes of nature. This is this beautiful quality of singing ourselves up, singing ourselves back, celebrating. It's a beautiful, beautiful earth, and all she's ever wanted, and she's not stopping, she hasn't abandoned us, is give to us. So cultivating devotion, reverence, see what shows up in your life. Forge and hone and refine and direct your life energy in the way it wants to go. Forge and hone and direct your life energy in the way it wants to go. Build your resilience, build that muscle, and commit to change. So, shall we share a bit? Shall we get blessed relief from me talking? to really not just catalogue thanks, but to really sensually, deeply connect with your heart to the unbelievable privilege that you have, that we have, to walk on her bounty body, earth, and everything that she gives us up through our nervous systems, how the trees, nervous systems massively entwine with ours, how the waters of her body massively entwines with ours, how the feeding of the seasons massively entwines with ours. And we know now that mental health is doing so much work with bringing people back to nature. Why? Because she heals us. Her nervous system is, our nervous system and her nervous system are totally and utterly aligned. We are her children. We are her children. So for this music now, take time in your own way to say thank you to her. From your deepest heart, to say thank you. And to feel her, the shift, one of the many is in feeling. It's not in knowing, it's in feeling. So to make her so alive that she is in your home, like a massive grandmother, mother, sitting in your home. So you are in direct relationship with her. And that direct relationship, the minute you open this, along with all the great dakinis, sky dancers, celestial beings, all of life wants to be with you. All of life. It's just we've been looking and rushing into shops and businesses and computers and jumping on planes and going. And we've missed the very medicine which will heal us, which is life itself, herself, reality, wants to give to us. And in our singular turning away, arrogant, self-grabbing natures, we have been so arrogant. And so now in the bounty, as the heavens open and the earth opens and our nervous systems begin to dream a new way, let's begin to build that relationship together. In every way, in every day, how can we serve her? How can we serve life? How can we serve each other? How can we be the new rainbow warriors, the new rainbow tribe on earth, for however long this dream takes to unite, to realize nothing is separate, and to put an end to that divisive, separate place that makes us feel lonely and depressed and lost and grasping and hurting and pained and heartbroken. This was not the original template. And the absolute compassion of life that has always been here, that will always be here, has been to say, I am here. We need to turn our attention in radically and notice with such love, as sweet children that we are in our big forgetfulness, coming home. And you will find the biggest heart waiting for you. This is what I know. The biggest heart waiting for you. So enjoy this music, have your reflection, sing your hearts up, and know that life loves you. And the irony is that life has always been supporting you. It doesn't get better than life herself, reality itself. In the great luminous mind, in the deep purity of thought, in the nervous system of nature, in her outrageous bounties of sunsets and sunrises and waterfalls and tropical fruits and little worms in the earth. All of it is meant to be a celebration of coming back into the dance of life. So I love you. Thank you for showing up on Sunday mornings. Thank you for all your good wishes of people writing to me, telling me that this is helping them. It's my deepest love to be able to support in some way and to bring our observations, our intentions, our awarenesses back to tranquility, stillness, non-divisiveness, and to notice nature nurture herself. So just allowing yourselves to really feel your hearts and to feel the waters of life, the fire of life, the mountains, the streams, the sunsets, the rain, the snow, the ocean, the animals, birds, the trees, this magnificence, this absolute magnificence of life, inviting you deep to be with her in her own dreaming meditation. And be safe, keep dreaming, be tranquil. And thank you for your beautiful messages.
Thank you for taking the time to listen. If you enjoyed this episode, please do comment, like, subscribe and share so that we can collectively assist more people in these times. And for further information, social links and resources, please visit www.thearrigoprogramme.com. Until the next episode, be well and look after yourself. Sending you our blessings. Goodbye for now.